It's your friendly neighborhood laser lady. And for those who know and for those who don't know, I've been making and selling laser cut jewelry since 2014 full-time as a small business. And if you've watched this video anytime recently, you will have seen what it was like in the past decade for my business. It had a lot of ups, some downs, but mostly it was a growing business. So much so that I wanted to scale it back. And then I damn near killed my business last year. I've been taking the last few weeks wondering what I've been doing wrong, binge eating ice cream and other sweet treats that are just not good for you at all. And darn it, I think I figured it out. I got to the point where my cats were about to eat my eyeballs and I said, you know what? We can fix this. So let's get into everything I did wrong and how you can avoid it. First thing I completely messed up last year was I was just focusing on way too many things. For example, I started up my YouTube channel again, which was great, but then I was also trying to do TikToks for it and Instagram Reels and a blog and a new Etsy store, all the while when I'm trying to make my laser cut jewelry business work with new designs and all socials and email ads and the website.
2,000 years later.
So here's how I plan to keep the focus this year, and here's what you need to reflect on yourself if you're in the same boat as me, getting kind of pulled from too many directions. First thing I'm gonna do is plan way ahead. I'm now mapping out what I want and need to accomplish each month. I then break it down into nice, tasty, digestible bits that I can get done in a weekly and daily manner. This way I can see the list all at once and group things together. Which brings us to number 2, which is group tasks together. Instead of trying to do 50 5-minute tasks all in one day, I'm going to group weekly and monthly things together so they get completed with the focus that they deserve. For example, if I have planned a product line for spring, I will block out entire days to make the prototypes, take pictures, and make listings. Everything else can wait. Number 3. Cut out losers. If there's one thing I've learned last year, it's that I was wasting mega time on things that have no return on investment. Of course, you have to take a leap of faith on certain business projects, but scrambling to make a half-assed Instagram reel, blog post, or even a lackluster product for the sake of having more products is really just a huge waste of time. If it won't contribute to your end goal, just get rid of it. Now, if you've watched me a little bit, I bring up Gordon Ramsay a lot because I just love the man. Kitchen Nightmares is one of my favorite shows, and it absolutely dawned on me now that there's a new season of it, I'm not paid to say that, I'm just a fan, that I have found myself in the same predicament as a lot of these owners. Now, they call in Gordon Ramsay to help them with the restaurant business, and they say crazy things like, I have been doing this business for the last 25 years and I haven't changed a thing, and I just don't understand why I don't have customers anymore. And then when I was going through my tiny little adorable existential crisis earlier, it dawned on me, oh my God, that's me. I was running my business the same as I had been 8 years ago, and I haven't hardly changed a thing, which is absolutely insane. What am I doing? I should know better because of all of the awful reality TV that I watch. And here's how I plan to change it this year. Now, the best way to prevent falling into the trap of yourself and your comfortability is to connect with your people. Now, I have had some of the same customers for literally this entire decade of me doing my business, but I haven't taken the time to really connect and be like, what do you like? What do you not like? Their opinion matters. Those are the people you're trying to sell to. So even if you don't have a lot of people, maybe when you're out there doing a craft show, bring a few new items and just test the waters with a little bit. And don't be afraid to just be like, oh yeah, here is my new coaster set. Do you use coasters? Maybe you'll see that a lot of people don't really use coasters anymore, but they might be more interested in like a table centerpiece or something, for example. Back in the day when I wasn't in this very comfortable sinking ship that I found myself in, I would ask people and they would actually come to me with requests, and those turned out to be some of my very best designs. So definitely get those feelers out there into your customer fields, and they will tell you what it is that they want to buy, and they'll help you keep it funky fresh. The next thing I unintentionally absolutely shot my business in the gut with was taking away some of its biggest money makers. Now, I do primarily sell my items online, but I also would sell them at craft shows and Comic Cons and other fun conventions and expos and whatnot. And I had gotten pretty sick of it. 10 solid years of your weekends being booked isn't exactly fun, especially when all week long you also are working on other things. I was working every single day of every single week, and I really wanted to take a break. However, I should have taken a break in something that didn't make me so much money. I was really hoping I could focus online and get that number up a little bit, but sometimes you aren't quite in control on what Etsy does with its algorithms, or Amazon or eBay or wherever it is that you sell. And one thing for sure is when you're out there with the people, you make sales. If you haven't done craft shows yet, I really implore you to give that a try this year with your awesome wares, whatever it is you make. Oh, and I should mention, I have already done a couple of events so far this year. That's why I'm sitting in front of one of my displays, because I have gotten so much joy out of getting back into the real world. So if that's, like I said, something you haven't tried, give it a shot, because it's a lot of fun. Even just talking with people about what a laser is, because so many people have no idea, then they're very impressed. But enough of that, on to the next one. Now, this next one is a super easy fix. So if you're in the same boat as me, we both just need to delegate an entire day to focus on optimizing our online listings. Now, I have hundreds of listings over several websites, which is why I spread myself way too thin to possibly be able to go through every single listing every year, making sure all my tags are good, making sure all my headings are good. I did it to myself. I feel like last year was just a big old year of self-sabotage. So here's how I plan on fixing it this year. First off, I'm going to print out my very own product success sheet, because I know what it is I need to be doing. I simply just need to take the time to do it. And now, since I'm so good at focusing on too many different things, I'm going to delegate an entire day, probably 3 days, on just optimizing all of my listings. And that includes getting rid of some. You know, sometimes we just gotta whittle it down to what is actually selling, so we stop wasting our own time. As far as optimization, that product success sheet will really help you out. I have a whole video on that as well over up in the corner, and I'll have that listed below. So be sure you check that out after all of this. And there's just one last thing that nearly destroyed my entire business. So let's jump into that. Now, the last thing I have thought about and am really going to be focusing on in this next year to change everything is to actually just keep changing everything. There is an old sales pitch that you might have heard of, and it is, you don't sell the steak, you sell the sizzle. And that is such a great thing that I always fall back onto when I'm thinking about new products and how I can market them out to people, whether that is online or even in person. And one thing I can tell you for sure is that sizzle is going to sound different to everybody every year. So make sure you're keeping up on the trends. Don't fall into the trap that it seems like everyone on Kitchen Nightmares is falling into, where you're just repetitively doing what had once worked, wondering why years later it's not working. The reason is because it's years later. Things change. Everybody's going through a transformation, and your business must do the same. So I had mentioned a lot of other videos about business stuff in particular. If you're interested in more of whatever wacky ass advice I seem to always be talking about, check out this playlist. Otherwise, keep on crafting, keep on selling. You can do it. You're amazing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.